Hello, everybody. My name is Lydia Prescott. I thought I'd answer 5 questions for you, and that way you can learn a little bit about. Oh boy, I got to learn how to talk in front of a camera. I have 5 questions that I am going to answer for you. The questions are on my iPad, and I actually went to a website that is ChatGPT, basically. I went to chat.openai.com and I typed in the prompt, give me 5 questions that you want to ask me about my discovery of software that lets you create a conversational AI chatbot for cold calls. All right, that is a mouthful. All right, so instead of saying conversational AI chatbots, I am going to shorten that and give it a nickname and call that talking bot a chatty buddy. Okay, so that's going to be the nickname for my robocaller that has a personality. All right. So the answer from ChatGPT is that certainly here are 5 questions I'd like to ask you about your discovery of software for creating a conversational AI chatbot for cold calls. All right. Question number 1. What initially sparked your interest in exploring software for creating a conversational AI chatbot for cold calls? Okay, that's a long question. Excuse me. All right. So, what sparked my interest in exploring this? Well, anyone who does a lot of cold calls knows that cold calling is a pain in the butt. It's time consuming, it's draining. You get negative energy from people. They cuss you out, they hang up on you. The list goes on and on. There are even more reasons why people don't like cold calling. You know, you have to have the energy. When are you going to do it? How many calls can you make without running out of focus? You know, you don't want your negative attitude to come out if you're feeling drained. You really have to have a positive mindset to make a lot of cold calls. So, with that said, I was looking around online to find out how to get real estate deals more easily. And I stumbled across some software that is basically like an empty shell. By that, I mean, it is a platform for you to create and assemble a talking AI bot for yourself, for your business. With the talking bot, you can program it to have a personality. By that, I mean you can pick whether you want a male or female speaker. You can also choose the accent, such as like American, Australian, British, that type of thing. Also, within this shell of the software, you can put in your own script. You don't need to know any coding, but getting it initially set up is a little bit tricky. There is a little bit of a learning curve. So with that said, I'll keep giving you more information and tips as I go along and as I learn myself. So what you do with this blank software is you put in questions that you want it to ask the prospect on the phone. And what it will do, it will call your prospect, and your robot, which I call your chatty buddy, will go through a series of questions and have an actual conversation with the prospect. So essentially, there's a live human being, your prospect, talking to a robot, your programmed chatty buddy. So, with that said, you can ask anywhere from 2 to 5 questions. That's kind of the most efficient range for a phone call that usually lasts between 2 and 5 minutes, depending on how long the prospect will talk to your chatty buddy. All right. So, what's interesting about this whole thing is that what I learned is that it can make mistakes and you can teach it as you go along. So let me answer the rest of these questions and I'm sure I'll get back into that even more. Okay, number 2, can you describe the process you went through to discover this software, including any research or testing you conducted? Okay, the process I went through to discover this software was I found a YouTube channel where a a gentleman, he is a real estate investor. He said he's been testing this software. I'm not certain how he initially set his up, but he only talked about bits and pieces on how he set it up. So I looked into it further and I found a young man. Actually, he's a teenager in high school. I found him that he was a few steps ahead of me, and he's selling the service of setting up this talking chatbot. So I paid quite a bit of money to have mine initially set up. I'll just let you know it was under $2,000, and after it was set up and I was running it, I was like, wow, this is worth so much more. The leads I was getting, it was incredible. Okay. So um, it was quite a bit to pay. But I think over time you could learn to do this yourself. I didn't have to learn programming per se when I looked at kind of how it was set up. But let me get on to question number 3. What specific features or capabilities were you looking for in the software to meet your needs for cold calling automation? What specific features were you looking for? Okay, well, for cold calling automation from a chatty buddy, I would need it to be able to relate to the person, to the human, and actually have a conversation with it where it doesn't sound robotic. So, where each conversation, each phone call would basically be unique. And yes, that is what I discovered. I discovered that all of these recordings that I have listened to, they are unique conversations. So I'm pretty blown away. I'm very amazed. All right, number 4, what challenges or obstacles did you encounter during your discovery process and how did you overcome them? Okay, well, you have to understand that your chatty buddy is going to take time to respond to your prospect's answers to the questions. So your prospect will say, for example, hello, and your chatty buddy is going to be saying, oh, hello, is this so and so? And it'll actually say the name that you have already set up in your database. So it's going to say the first name. And then the person will say, yes, hello. And then the way I have mine set up is my chatty buddy will say, oh, hello, may I speak with so and so? And then they confirm yes or no. And if they would say yes or no, my chatty buddy would just go on with the script. And if they said no, it kind of didn't make sense for the chatty buddy to continue with the script because it's not the right person. So what I did was I went into the knowledge bank of my chatty buddy. There's kind of like a back end area of it on this software. You can add knowledge to it. So, for example, I typed in a couple sentences that said, if you don't reach the right person, ask them if they know that the person, do they know the prospect or how to reach them? And then if they don't, then just end the call. So it kind of is getting smarter as it goes. That's something that I did learn. Number 4, what challenges or obstacles did you encounter during your discovery process? How did you overcome them? Did I already do number 4? I feel like I already did this one. All right, I'm going to go on to number 5. How do you envision integrating this software into your existing workflow, and what goals do you hope to achieve by implementing it for cold calling purposes? All right, well, I'm going to tell you that I've already ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 campaigns, and I have had amazing results and better results as it goes. So you have to understand it's a learning process for me in setting up my chatty buddy, and also it's my chatty buddy is learning as we go, okay? Because I am adding rules for it to go by. So it's learning as time goes on. So the first campaign I ran, it says I uploaded 700 contacts, and that was actually 3 lists of the same people. What I mean by that is I uploaded one list with their first phone number, then I uploaded another contact list of property owners with their second phone number, and then I uploaded a third list of the same contacts with a third phone number that I had got from skip tracing them. So essentially, the same person is on there 3 times. And what I found from that, it was calling the people way too often, because the way the campaign works is it calls the person several times over 3 days. A campaign lasts for 3 days while it's trying to reach your prospects. So it'll dial their number. If they don't answer, it'll dial them again in around 10 minutes or an hour. If they don't answer again, it'll dial the second day and then another hour, and then a third day, and then another hour. So it'll attempt to reach someone a total of 6 times. And you'll be able to see it in your recordings that's built into your dashboard. That's where I look to see the recordings of the phone calls. That's where it will show me if they actually reached the prospect and had a conversation. All right, so that is the answer to these 5 questions. I hope that answered some of your questions that you might have for me. I am going to continue to make videos. I'm hoping to make them daily, or at least almost daily, for your information and also to dialogue my journey. So thank you for joining, and please subscribe to learn more about my chatty buddy. Bye.